PSVR2 has no games. Let's talk about it. Since Sony dropped its second VR headset, that is the #1 critique that I've heard from people, that there are no games. They're not going to buy it because it's over $500. It costs more than the PlayStation, and there aren't enough games to justify that price. So I decided to test that theory. In this video, we're going to be going through the entire PlayStation VR2 library up to date and see how many games are available right now, how much each game will cost you, and how long it will take you to beat each game. All right, so here's the VR2 library. The first game on the list, Horizon Call of the Mountain. This is pretty much the selling point of the VR2 headset, coming in at $60, and it's about 7 hours of gameplay. Another popular one, Resident Evil Village. Now this is the full regular game. However, it has been upgraded to support VR2. It's going to run you about $40 if you don't already have it. If you do, you can get a free upgrade, and it's about 9.5 hours of gameplay. Next up, we got Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition. Now the Enhanced Edition does come with the DLC included. It will cost you $49.99, and with the DLC included, it's going to give you about 10 to 12 hours of total gameplay. NFL Pro Era, gonna run you $30, and I say for playtime, really infinite, because you can continue playing seasons over and over. So that's up to you on playtime. Puzzling Places is exactly what it sounds like, a game where you complete puzzles in virtual reality. Now it comes in at $20, and the game length again varies because you can pick up to 20 puzzles, anywhere from 25 pieces on up to 400 pieces. So the game length will vary. Song in the Smoke is a prehistoric survival game that will run you $30, and the playtime developers say is anywhere between 12 to 20 hours. Cosmonious High is the game from the makers of Job and Vacation Simulator, as you follow an intergalactic high school. Costs $30, and it's about 3 hours of gameplay. Drums Rock is basically Rock Band, but in VR. It's going to cost you $20, and there's 20 songs on it right now at launch. Gran Turismo 7 is one of my favorites on the list. It's going to cost you $70, and it is an amazing game. Like Resident Evil Village, this is the full-length title, so it's 24.5 hours. They just upgraded it for it to be in VR2. Next up is No Man's Sky, which is the full game. It just has been upgraded to support VR2. It's going to cost you $60, and to complete the main story is about 30 hours. However, there are millions of planets in this game, so you could be playing this for months. Next up, we're going to do Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator. Job Simulator is going to run you $20, and it's about 3 hours of gameplay, whereas Vacation Simulator is going to run you $30, and it's 4 to 5 hours of gameplay. Ever thought about playing Tetris in VR? Well, Tetris Effect is for you. It's going to run you $40, and it is about 3 hours of gameplay. Moving on, we got Thumper, which is a psychedelic rhythm game, coming in at $20, and it is about 8 hours of gameplay. Resco Infinite will cost you $30, and it is about 2 hours of gameplay. Next up, we have the action platformers that are Moss Book 1, coming in at $20 with 4 hours of gameplay, and Moss Book 2, the sequel, at $30 and 5 hours of gameplay. Pistol Whip is a rhythm action shooter, coming in at $30, and it will run you about 5 hours of gameplay. Zenith The Last City is an MMORPG in VR, one of the longest games on this list outside of No Man's Sky, coming in at about 100 hours plus many more replayability factors, considering that it is an MMORPG. Very excited for this one. We got Kayak VR Mirage. This game comes in at $30, and this is one of the ones that I've actually already played so far on this list, and I would say there's about 2 hours of gameplay to get through all of the different levels. Synth Riders is a cyberpunk style rhythm game, coming in at $25, and is about 5 hours of gameplay. Jurassic World Aftermath will cost you $30 and take you about 8 hours to beat this game. Demio is a tabletop VR experience that's going to cost you $40, and it takes about 3 hours to complete the main story. Light Brigade is a roguelike VR shooter that's going to cost you $25, and it's about 12 hours of gameplay. Cities VR is a building management simulation game that's going to cost you $30, and there's really not a timetable for how long this game is or how many hours of gameplay, because it depends on how big or how small you want to make your city. Spectacular is a puzzle game where you play as a giant beast monster. It's going to cost you $25, and it's a little over 8 hours of gameplay. After the Fall is a zombie shooter that'll run you about $30, and it'll take you 2.5 hours to beat this. Townsman VR is a simulation world where you'll build your own village, and it'll cost you $40. Onaguru is an action adventure game. It'll cost you about $35, and it's 8 hours of gameplay. Cave Digger 2 is an action adventure VR game that'll cost you $25 and take about 8.5 hours to beat. Zombie Headshot Fever will cost you $25, and take about 6 hours to beat. This one is another one that really piqued my interest. Intergalactic Bartending. Costs you $15 and takes about 5 hours to complete. I definitely want to check this one out in my spare time. Discronia is an anime-style sci-fi crime investigation game that'll cost you $20 and take about 6 hours to beat. Altar Breaker is a sword fighting VR that'll cost you $30, take about 3 hours to complete. And we have our second VR football game on the list, 2MD Football Unleashed. Now this game will cost you $15, and again, the gameplay varies because you can always just play matches over and over. Garden of the Sea is a VR game similar to Animal Crossing that'll cost you $25 and is about 5 hours in length. Next up we have Runner, an anime-like shooter that'll cost you $15 and is about 4 hours of gameplay. Another one that I'm super excited about is Pavlov. Now this game comes in at $25 and will likely be my next purchase. Now Pavlov is an FPS multiplayer online VR shooter. Super pumped to try this out. If you haven't seen any gameplay, please check it out. Fantavision is a pyrotechnic strategy puzzle game that'll cost you $30 and take about 3 hours to complete. The Last Clockwinder is a puzzle automation game that goes for $25 and it'll take you about 5 to 6 hours to beat. Les Mills Body Combat is a VR fitness journey that will cost you $30, and I'm not sure how many hours exactly, but I know there are 30 sessions to complete in this game. Kazuna AI is a rhythm-based game that goes for $35. There's about 4 hours of gameplay. Unplugged Air Guitar is exactly what it sounds like. It would basically be the VR version of Guitar Hero. It goes for $25, and there's about 30 songs on here. Ragnarok VR is a rhythm-based Viking game where you take control of a ship by beating the drums. Game is going to cost you about $25. There's about 2.5 hours of gameplay. What the Bat is a puzzle title where you play as a character with bats for hands. It'll cost you about $25, and there's maybe 4.5 to 5 hours of gameplay. Cactus Cowboy Plants at War is a VR shooter that at the time of filming this video is free to download, and it'll take you about 4 hours to beat. Last but certainly not least, we have Awesome Asteroids, which will cost you $8 and is about 3 hours of gameplay. That was the entire PSVR2 library that is available right now at launch. I understand that this library isn't perfect. There were a ton of games that were ported over from the Oculus, the Quest, or the original PSVR1. I get that, and I have a video coming up shortly, so stay on the lookout for that video of games that I wish were added to the console at launch. However, I will say this, I made this video for myself and people like myself who are brand new into VR, have never played before, haven't experienced any of these games. For people like me, yes, there is a ton to dive into. I counted 48 titles for a grand total of $1,388. That is a ton of games and a ton of money to be spent that a lot of us don't have or the time to put into all these games. So when I hear that discourse that the
PSVR2 has no games,
maybe to you, but to the average consumer like myself, there's a ton for us to do. But I'm curious, what did you guys think about all the titles that we showcased today? If you made it this far in the video, type Creed 3 down in the comments. If you made it this far, type Creed 3 down in the comments. I want to know what you guys thought about this. Did you think this was informative? Check out my other VR content coming up soon, man. And I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for my next videos. I got more VR content on the way. Until the next one, everybody.